Hello everybody, let me introduce you to my new toy. This is the Cricut Maker by Cricut. I was recently asked if I would like to collaborate with Cricut, and of course I eagerly said yes, and this is what I have received, the beautiful Cricut Maker. I will just give you a little tour of this machine before we go on with the tutorial and make something with it. On the left hand side here we have a little storage holder which I've put a few of the Cricut tools that I was so kindly sent in there. It's 2 compartments, so I have an extra blade in the second compartment. We open it by lifting the lid, it automatically opens up. There's a storage container down the bottom here for keeping more tools. I have scissors and pens, tape measures, spatulas and a thimble in there also. Very handy. We have a double holder here. On the left hand side we have clamp A, which holds pens, and on the right hand side that is clamp B, that holds your knife blades and your rotary cutters and things like that. On the top here we have a slot to hold any devices that you might be using, and down the bottom here on the left and the right we have our mat guides and our rollers. On the right hand side here we have our on-off button. We have our load and unload, our go and a pause button. And on the right hand side down the bottom here there is a USB port so that any devices you might be using you can easily charge. On the back of the machine are the electricity cables, one for the power and one to hook up to your device or your desktop computer. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you how to access the Cricut Access online, and it's very easy to close back up. You just push that up, turn it off and put the lid down. This is in the champagne color and it's perfect for where I have it in the house. It is down in my living area near my computer, so the color is perfect. It just blends in with everything, which is wonderful. Once you've unboxed your Cricut machine and set it up, go to the Cricut website and start to register your machine. The website will prompt you in everything you need to do. It's very easy, so just follow all the instructions. As you can see, it's easy to follow instructions all the way through. It has guidelines on where to place your machine so that you have enough distance behind it. It's important to do this because the mat has to go from the front through to the back and you don't want it hitting anything. We've already got our plugs plugged in, hopefully. And there we go, it will register the machine for you. You just need to probably put a few personal details in after that point, and then you can carry on to your first cut. In the box you will receive a small kit that has some cardstock and a piece of fabric perhaps, and they're the materials you will use for your test run. And once again the website will prompt you all the way through this part. Now with your mat you're going to use the lightweight blue mat. It has a top and a bottom. You can put this into the machine either way. The little notch there would signify the top of the mat. When you're taking off your clear sheet, I put mine face down on the table so that I can put it back onto the mat the same way I took it off, always keeping that sticky side together. I'm putting my cardstock in the top left hand corner, which is what the website told me to do, and then once again I'm just going to follow all the prompts. I've put my mat under the little tabs and pressing the load button. And then the on or cut button. And this is sped up even more, just so we don't have to wait too long. Now it's unloading, and now we can have a look at how it went. I'm going to peel off that cardstock first by slightly bending the mat back just to make it easy. They do recommend that you use your weeding tool, which is in the toolkit, and weed it on the mat to get all those little pieces out of your design. Just showing you the little toolkit that came with the package. And there's the weeding tool. And I've flipped the mat over so that I don't have to put my arm on the cutting surface. We want to keep that as sticky as possible. And here we go. Here's our little cut crown, and it appears to have cut perfectly. So I'm very happy, and my machine is all set up now, and I'm ready to make my first real project. Alright, so when you come onto the Cricut Design Space, you will come to your home page. Up the very top, it will show you anything you have been working on and your own projects. As you come down the page, it will show you some playlists. The first one here is the Cricut playlists and all the videos and helpful things they have on the website. They have a YouTube channel which has many tutorials on how to do things. As you come down, there's different projects you can make from the whole Cricut community where people share their projects. There's so many to choose from, as you can see. Some wonderful things you can choose from. Look at that, it's a mustache mug. Anyway, right up the top there will be your own projects. As you can see, I've been trying out things of my own. So I'm going to press new project. That will bring up my canvas to make a new project. Now I want to make a flower. So first of all, I'm going to go into images and see if I can find a flower image that I want to use. So I'm typing in the search box there, flower. Brings up many different types of flowers. I'm after almost a daisy like this one, but not as many petals. So I can keep looking to see if I can find one that somebody else may have already made and would like to share. Or I can make my own. Now I'm the kind of, oh, see, there's one very similar to what I want to make. Okay, let's press on that and see if we can use that. That is just a daisy image. No, I don't want to use that. What I'm going to do is make my own. So on the left-hand side over here, there are some tabs. One says upload, so you can upload your own designs. I haven't actually tried that yet. There's shapes, text, images, projects, templates, and a new for a new project. So I'm going to go to, no I'm not, I'm going to go to images once again, and I'm going to type in teardrop and find a teardrop shape because that's a petal shape. That one will do fine. I just need something to work with. I'll move that to the middle of my canvas so you can see better. Now, this is not the right shape exactly. Around the shape, you will see some more little buttons. You have your X button, which is Xing out, of course. You have your rotation button. You have your enlarge and reduce button. You also have your unlock button. The enlarge and reduce button keeps everything in perspective. If I press the unlock, I can move it in different ways, and that's exactly what I want. That's what I want to be able to do. So I'm going to fiddle with that for a minute and come up with a fairly petal looking shape, which I think would be that. Okay, I think that will be fine. Yep, I think that will be fine. Okay, I can lock that now to keep that. On the right hand side over here, you have your layers. This, we're highlighted what layer we are on. If I want to duplicate that layer, there's a duplicate button there. And see, I pressed that, and now I have two. I can rotate that upside down. And I'm just going to, if I put that there and that there, I'm just going to overlap it just a little bit. So now I have two petals facing opposite directions. I'm just going to take one of those petals and I'm going to duplicate it again because I want a spare. I want to keep that size. Now with these two, and move them apart a bit because I don't want them too close. Let's see how that is. Right, okay, so we have them like that. I'm going to join them together again, attach them, and I'm going to duplicate it twice. So I have 3 lots of that now. Now I can start playing to make a flower, I think. Let's have a look. Trying to get them fairly even. They don't have to be perfect, but it's nice if, you know, they're fairly even. How's that? Okay, that looks like a good flower shape. Okay, now coming back over to this side over here, I'm going to my shapes again, and I'm going to get a circle this time. There we go. I'm going to use the Reduce Enlarge button and take it over here and try and decide what kind of center. That looks like a good size centerpiece. I just want to say I want it pretty much in the center. So what I'm doing on my layers over this side is I'm pressing on that layer and dragging it to the bottom. So now see how it's right underneath? It's at the bottom there. And if I enlarge it, down in the bottom left over here, there's a plus and minus sign. You can enlarge that. That way I can maneuver to see if that is in the center, and it actually is. It's right in the center. The cross is right in the center of all my petals, so that worked out very well. So let's just reduce that a little bit now, and I'm going to join all of those together. So back over to the right hand side here, I want to attach everything above that. This is a learning experience. So I'm going to weld it. There's a little button down the bottom over this side, and it says weld, and I'm welding all that, and see how that all disappeared, and now I have one piece. Well, no, I don't. I have 2 pieces. Put that back. Put the circle next to the flower, highlight them both, and weld them together. Then I have a flower like that, and I have a petal which is the same size as those petals, which is what I want. So now I want, let's say 4 flowers. Yes, I want 4 flowers, so I'm going to duplicate my flowers by pressing the duplicate button over the top right hand side. So now I have 4 flowers. I can separate all of those. Okay, and we'll do 4 petals as well. So I've highlighted it over on the right side on my layers again, and I'm duplicating it. So I want 3 more. So we have 4 petals there as well. Okay, and that's all I have to do to make the flower that I want to make. And now up on the top right hand side, and I'll just move the camera a bit, there you go, see that green button right up over there? I'm going to press that, and that says make it. Okay, so what that has done is shown me my canvas, and it's rearranged everything so that everything will fit on my cutting mat and print and cut it out, because we're not printing it, we're cutting it. And this is going to be cut out of fabric. I'm going to be using my fabric cutting on this one. Okay, and if you're happy with how all of that looks, then you can go down to the bottom right hand side, and once again I'll just move my camera a bit. See that green button there down the bottom here, and it says continue, and then it will take you to this page here, and it says set your base material. We're going to be using fabric. Now there's different fabrics here. Mine's going to be a cotton fabric, so you go across and you find the fabric that you want to be using. I'm going to be using cotton, so I press on the cotton and it tells me what blade I need to be using, and I need to be using the rotary blade. And I also need my pink mat. The pink mat that comes with the machine is the only mat you use for fabric. You don't use it for paper, you keep it for your fabric. You use your rotary blade with your fabric. You don't use it with paper. That way everything stays nice and sharp. You need to never cut paper with your rotary blade, but the machine does prompt you. It tells you what blades to use, and it won't go until it's got the right blade in. So I'm just going to turn the camera off now and set my fabric up on my mat, and we'll go from there. So before I get started, I just wanted to show you some of the products that I will be using. Along with the Cricut Maker itself, I have this lovely sewing toolkit, and that has some 8-inch scissors. It has a box of pins. It has a pin cushion. How cute is that? We have some snips and a unpick. We also have a tape measure and a leather thimble up the top there. So that's a lovely little set. I also have a fabric pen and also the Cricut Garden Girl fabric sample pack that I will be using. I won't have to wash the fabric before I use it, because this is not going to be a garment or anything that I'll be worried about washing in the future. So I'll just unpack all these, and I will cut my fabric to the size of the mat, and then I will be back. Now that I have my fabric cut out, I've cut it to a 30-inch by 30 centimetre square. I'm going to be using my pink mat. I'm removing the plastic cover and I'm placing it face down, although this one does have a sticker on the front of it to remind you that it is for the fabric cutting mat. Then I'm going to be placing my fabric on top of the cutting mat, and like I said before, you can use these mats either way, so I'll just line it up. It has measurements going either way as well, and you need to get the fabric quite flat. You don't want any air bubbles or anything like that. There we go. It's actually a bit easier to use your hands with fabric rather than the spatula, so keep that in mind. That looks fairly good. Okay, isn't that a pretty colour fabric as well? It's really lovely. Okay, and so now I'm going to take it over to the machine and we'll cut it out. So we've been prompted to change our blades. We need to take out the paper cutting blade, and I'll just pop that in there for the time being and take out our rotary cutting blade. It has a cap on it, so we remove the cap. Does it have a cap on it? Yes, it does. I'll pop that in there as well so that I don't lose it. And see, there's a little cog there. We're lining that up with the cog in the machine there. It's going to sit there. I'm quite sure it's magnetic, so it holds there quite nicely in the perfect position. You hold that in place, then you flip this part over. You do need to firmly close it. I'm just going to get the cutting mat now and place that into the machine. Our light is prompting us over here to insert it. Okay. And now the light is flashing to go, so we're going to go. Now it's prompting us to release it. And there we go. And now we have the moment of truth, and that is taking our fabric off and seeing our cut design. Oh, didn't that cut nicely? I can use those little bits in a project somewhere along the line there. And then I'm just going to get our little scraping tool here. And that helps to lift things up off the mat, because you don't want to be touching the mat with your hands too much. Your skin has oils and things in it, and it will reduce the stickiness over time. Now, you don't have to push down hard with this tool. All you have to do is gently slide it under, and it just helps to release it so that you can pick it up like that, because you don't want to be distorting the shape too much of your project. Not all projects will need this sort of treatment, but because there's a lot of circular angles in the flowers, you don't want to be pulling them out of shape too much. There we go. And how lovely is that? That cut beautifully, didn't it? And saved an awful lot of time of me cutting them all out. And I have quite a few sheets to be cutting out of this, so I'll go ahead and do that. And once you've finished all the cutting you want to do, down on the bottom right hand corner there's a green button that says finish. There you go, and you press that. I did go ahead and cut some out of cardstock, and I'll quickly show you how I did that. That is our original canvas. I went back to Make It, which is up in the right hand corner. I also adjusted how many copies I wanted in the top left hand corner up here, and then you press continue. And because I'm not going to be using fabric on this one, the base material I used was a medium cardstock, so I pressed that and then it came on and it said to load the fine point blade in clamp B. So I went ahead and did that, and I did a few sheets out of cardstock as well. So I'm just going to cancel that because I've already done that. And cancel out of that, and then we're back at our canvas here, and now I'm just going to save that because I may want to make those flowers again somewhere down the track. So if you see where my cursor is up near the green button there, over here, there's a save button. So I will go to save and press, I think I've already saved it to be honest, but I will save. You will go in and save it. I can't save it again because I've already saved it. It says save as, and see, there we go, flower brooch 1. That's what I've saved it at. So I'll X out of that, but if you want to save your project, that's how you would do it. Okay, and so that's how it's all done. And if I wanted to add a tag to my project, I could make that, but I think I'll show that in another video because I'm sure this is quite long enough already. So now we're going to go and put our flowers together and then off to the sewing machine. And here are all the cut flowers that I've done. I have some white cotton flowers here, and it has cut a lot of flowers. I'm thinking around 40 flowers. The blade worked perfectly well. I did stop halfway through and wipe my mat off, the pink cutting mat, with a wet wipe, and it was fine, just to, you know, get rid of any loose threads that were stuck to the mat, which happens when you're cutting fabric. So we have our white ones, we have our lightweight cardstock flowers here that have cut out beautifully. We have all the beautiful floral and patterned fabric flowers cut from the Cricut material. We have the little petals also, and I have some white petals over there in fabric as well. And this is what I'm going to be doing. I have a piece of the white fabric here. I have a cardstock piece, and I have my floral piece. And what I'm going to do, I have a little glue pen here, and I'm just going to put a bit of glue on the back of the cardstock flower like that, and then I'm going to line it up with the white fabric flower as best I can, because we all know, you know, fabric doesn't stay the same. Once you start moving it around, it can change shape a little bit. That's just the way fabric is. So just stretch it to fit onto your cardstock like that. And that's just to hold it temporarily into place because it has the cardstock in it. I don't want to be putting my nice pins through that cardstock to hold it into place. So once I've got that, then I can do the same on this side with my fabric. Just pressing it down to hold it into place. And I'm doing the glue in the center just so I don't clog up my needle when I put it under the sewing machine. So that's how that is. It's got a sandwich effect, but I kind of want to make them a little bit more quirky than that. So with these lovely little petals that I cut out, I want to like make a couple of the petals on the flower look a little bit different. Because that's a patterned fabric underneath, I don't want to see that. So I'm going to use the white petals that were cut out as well and use that to try and minimize any fabric pattern coming through. So I'll just put a bit of that on there. So that one, I know it looks thick, but it'll be fine. It's meant to be a layered flower look. So just put that there. Let's just pull it up a little bit more. I'm not too concerned with the inside of the flower. It's mainly the outer edges. There we go. Okay, so I might want that one there, and I might want this one over there like that, and perhaps a little yellow one over here, just to give it added effect, like that. And I will go ahead and put all my flowers together, and then I will see you at the sewing machine. Okay, so I have layered up all my flowers, as you can see. Where's the camera? There we go. That's, whoops, sorry, no light. They've got the fabric, the cardboard, or the cardstock, another fabric flower, and then the occasional odd petal. On some of them, they're not all done that way. And then I'm just putting it under the sewing machine here, and I'm going to use a small zigzag stitch to go around the petals, and I'll just start that off and show you, and just put our needle in and just carefully go around each of the petals. That's all. It doesn't have to be neat, because they're meant to be like a shabby, quirky kind of flower. Okay, so I've gone all the way around with that. I'll just take that off. Cut my threads. As you can see, we've just zigzagged all the way around. That's the other side there. And now I'm just going to go finish my flowers off. So as you can see, I am surrounded by a lovely flower garden here. I'm so impressed with the way the Cricut Maker cut the fabric. It even cut the little buttons that I went back and created, and will be available for you also if you're interested. Not quite sure if it's meant to cut such tiny little thread holes in the center, but it did manage. I also made some little tags using the pen and the cutting blade, and I think they're really quite cute. I've just sat that one under there, but I'm just going to put a little, either a bulb pin or a bit of string or twine, and attach it to a gift. And this is a way you can use the flowers. You can use it for gift packaging. This one here, I've made a TN style fabric covered journal, and I have attached one of the flowers to the front, and then attached one of the plain flowers to the actual cover, to keep it nice and flat. And I love the way that looks, and I love this beautiful fabric. It's so happy and very spring-like. And this is just attached on an elastic to take on and off, and I just think it has a lot of uses. I was thinking also with them that you could perhaps even double them up and thread a wire through them, and maybe a large pearl on the front, and fill a vase full. But I'm going to keep these for on packages. That is the purpose I made them for. I think they look lovely if you're sending a gift to somebody. You could make them in different styles for different occasions. Now with the design program, there is a small learning curve, like I think I mentioned to you. I'm happy with the way this little tag turned out, but I did have to try 3 times to get it to the size I wanted. For some reason it kept, well, it didn't. I was putting in the right dimensions, but I was a little bit confused. I can use all of these, but there is a small learning curve as with any new program. But that being said, it is a very easy program. Once you get the hang of it, I've tried quite a few different things. I'm really enjoying my learning experience, and I will show you some more things that I have made during this learning period. I'm also looking forward to being able to upload my own images and trying some new things as well. But I'm a beginner, and this is where beginners start. They start with easy to make projects, and that's what this is. So I hope you've enjoyed this video on the Cricut Maker. I am thrilled to have it. I've been playing with it nonstop. It's just wonderful. And for those of you who are in Australia and might be interested in getting one or having a look at one yourself, they are available in Spotlight and BigW, I think Harvey Norman and Costco in Australia. So keep your eye out if you are interested in it. I really do hope you've enjoyed this. I'm eager to do a few more things with the Cricut Maker, especially, with journaling, things for inside the journals. I think I have some vinyl to play with, so I'll show you what I've done with the vinyl, and I've made some paper things. So the next video I do with the Cricut Maker, I'll show you what I've done. So take care, everybody, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.